record this so it can live on. So, all right. So I will start by welcoming everyone here today. I'm glad you could come along for a little virtual tour, so to speak, of this outreach campaign that we've all been working so hard on. We are not going to do like a formal check-in where we introduce ourselves. I think if you could, just because we're going to try and keep this under a half hour, tell us who you are or where you're coming in from in the chat maybe, and then we can get a little bit more acquainted with one another. My name is Julie Stevenson. For those who don't know, I work with Southwest Health, and I've been working closely with the mental health crisis intervention team that's connected to the behavioral health partnership of Southwest Wisconsin for probably over a year. And so we have been working, a smaller cohort of us have been working hard on this outreach campaign related to mental health. And this is our kickoff event where we're putting together just a short video to help people walk through the campaign, ask questions about it, and see the hard work. And also, though, this is like the jumping off point for what else can we do with this. So today, just quickly to walk through the agenda, we'll walk through the website, which is where we're housing everything. We'll walk through the different components of that. We'll get you familiar with the campaign materials, who helped us put these together, what we're hoping for future, legs that we can be allowing this thing to have legs, so to speak. And then we'll have a brief demonstration from Hannah to help if you're want to stick around for that. And if not, by that point, you can log off, but she's going to be doing a demonstration on how to use some of these on social media and scheduling social media posts, since not everybody is familiar or a marketing expert that's on the call today. So I'm going to introduce Hannah, and I'm going to introduce Bridget, and then we'll get right into it. So Hannah, and will you say your last name for me, because I don't want to butcher it?
Hannah Perleski.
She is the website guru that's been working so closely with Bridget. And both of them are connected to Bridget, I'm going to let you say the full title of the program.
Right. So it's the Southwestern Wisconsin Behavioral Health Partnership, 5 counties. It's Grant, Green, Iowa, Lafayette, and Richland. And yeah, we've been working at this since 2017. I'm trying to, so Mary, Candy, they're both on our steering committee. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, that's great. So Bridget really coordinates much of the work that goes along with that partnership, and Hannah has been working closely with her to make sure that the web presence is up to speed and doing all sorts of things. So I'm going to, and most of you know this, so we're being short and sweet, but I'm going to turn this over now so Hannah can share the website. While she's getting her screen sharing up, I want to just talk for a second about why we called this outreach campaign Breaking Your Stress Cycle. And so I'm going to read basically what our first radio ad is, which is, the question is, what is a stress cycle? So stress is like health concerns, work, bills, whatever. They put your brain and body on high alert. And this response, is good because it keeps us safe from danger. It allows our bodies to run away or to fight. When the danger, though, in our bodies is, when the danger is over, our bodies can naturally return to a calm state. But the normal stresses of our lives don't just end. When stresses linger, we can stay in a heightened alert, and that can result in illness, lack of sleep, loss of productivity, and other problems. And so our bodies need to break the cycle of stress. So that's why we called the campaign this. We'll get into a little bit more about why that is right now, but I wanted to just quickly walk through the very first thing people will start to hear about the stress cycle, which is what I just read there. So we are at the website. So I was just saying, I'm going to let Hannah start from there.
So we're actually going to work our way backwards from the bottom of the page to the top, sort of the order that we brought all this together. So just a thank you to our partners. There were representatives from Big Radio, Southwest Health, Southwest Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, Southwest Cap, Upland Hills Health, a lot of those people were involved in creating this. So here, the Break Your Stress Cycle is based on this book, Burnout. So if you're looking for more of the science behind all of the things that you're going to see, this is a great place to go. So here are a lot of the media. So I'm going to actually skip, if it's okay, Julie, I'm going to skip to the images because that's a bit more, and then I'll go back down. But so here we have like 6 basic images and then also corresponding ads that talk about, basically it's the science behind it and then a way that you can practice it. And so we have breathe, affection, creative expression, laughter, physical activity, positive social interaction. And we would like you to be involved in our media campaign. And so here are the media that are available for download for free. It's most important just to get this information out there because it can be so helpful to people. So feel free to download and distribute at your own discretion. So there's PDFs that you can print off as flyers. I've got social media graphics that are for Facebook and Instagram. If you wanted to print them out as cards and make bookmarks or give them to people, there are cards. And then there's also radio ads, so that I mentioned. So they're going to be on a cycle on some local stations. It's starting with what is a stress cycle and then working our way through some of those other ones, but they're all accessible here now if you want to take a listen. And then if you want to see one of these in your newspaper, then you're able to contact Bridget and we can figure something out there with that. Any exposure helps. So if this is something that you like and you want to see, that's an option too. So then also just briefly, there's beneath all these images, we have just some brief articles that explain the science that are more approachable and that are short. Rather than read a whole book, there's just brief explanations about why indeed laughter does help you to break your stress cycle. So yeah, and then at the top we have just some local hotline numbers and then also national numbers, as well as our network of care site that can connect you to resources for treatment. So did I miss anything, Julie?
Sorry, struggling to get off mute there. No, I don't think so. I appreciate you walking through that. Like she said, we started at the bottom to show you the partners that came together to help us put together just all of this information and to do it in a very, just knocked over my water. Sorry about that. Very hopefully sort of robust package that you should be able to find as much information as you could possibly maybe want or need to start conversations around breaking your stress cycle. So let's just pause for a second because we've said a lot of things quickly in the first 10 minutes. And let's just open it up, whether you put a question or comment in the chat or if you want to unmute. What is questions that you might be thinking about, concerns that you might have? I see Jody's got a question, so yeah.
Of course she does. I'm Jody Cecil, digital marketing specialist at Upland Hills Health. I'm wondering, just because I want to, from a marketing perspective, I want to marry what the radio message is to what the graphic looks like and make sure that timing looks good. So I'm curious if we can either post or share the radio schedule, what stations and when the different spots will be running.
I'm gonna let Bridget, yep, there you go.
Yeah, this is exactly, I think that was one of the next things we were going to upload to the website and make sure that it's all coordinated. Yeah, and share how that's being coordinated. Yeah.
Yep. And we will do that soon because, the radio ads will be, it's only like a 7 or 10, 12 week turnaround at this point. So it'll be pretty quickly. Hopefully we can continue to find sponsorships and things like that so we can have radio ads run longer and go a little bit further. But yes. So we'll get that to you. Cool. Or put it on the website, I mean.
I've also put the website in the chat for everyone.
Yes.
So swbhp.org.
I need to just keep that because then I won't mess up the name every time because I'll be able to just read it from the acronym. But what other questions or thoughts do you have at this point, whether it's about the campaign itself or what we are hoping will happen from this meeting or other introductory meetings? Hannah mentioned it just really quickly, but we are, I'm going to use a phrase that I just recently heard. We're not precious about this. Like we do not want this to be something that people are like, I don't know if I can use it or how I should, like, use it, do whatever you can do with it, right? We're not precious about how this is getting out there. We just want the community to start seeing and hearing these messages because we believe that they need it. We believe that it's good work. The planning, the little core team has had so many just like conversations that stem and grow from every time we dig into like, are we covering this? Are we covering this? So we want more of that to happen for everyone in the region. I'm gonna just check out the chat here. Is there anything coming in? I don't see anything.
I just want to say I think it's great. And we're going to put it on our Facebook page, on the ADRC Facebook page weekly. So we're going to kind of sync it in with the radio ads also, because it's just, I think you're absolutely right. I think people need this. They need something to just kind of quick grab and go kind of thing, because they've got so much going on in their lives right now. So thank you for doing this. This is great.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure. So before Hannah gets into the demonstration, let's talk a little bit about sort of our call to action as we leave here. One of the things that, and you can be thinking about this then during the demonstration if you're sticking around for this, and if not, we'd love to hear your answer even in the chat before you leave. Where do you see like right away, like in the next week, I can do this with this, right? I can, so like, for example, I sent this out to some people that I work with at Southwest Health, and right away people were like, can I share this with our LGBTQ support group that's going on in this area, because there's mental health, constantly having mental health. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I had never thought of that, but that's a great, so be thinking about, and I think I'm sharing that, and I want you to share for this exact reason, which is I didn't think of that. That would be another great avenue to start sharing this. So we can either talk about it now for a few minutes or just be thinking about it. So anybody got a thought on, I know how I'm going to use this right away? Candy.
I've actually already put a few of these on the Facebook. I'm the library director in Darlington. So I put one on the library page, I think the breathing one. I posted one on our Lafayette County Mental Health Matters Facebook page. And I shared one to my personal page in hopes that, and I think I saw under the analytics that someone had liked it and then shared it also. So okay. You know how Facebook works, that could really get around quickly. So I'd also like to share the website, the whole website, with our coalition in Lafayette County. Should I wait a bit? Because I noticed at the top it says that it's still under construction.
I actually removed that this morning because we are all set to go.
Okay, so I will share that with our coalition, and they are all like the movers and shakers in Lafayette County, and so that'll go everywhere.
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
excited.
That's awesome. Thank you, Candy.
That's great.
I think,
and
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to add really quick that in terms of Facebook and Instagram, if you use the hashtag Break Your Stress Cycle, that is currently had no post associated with it. So that would be a super cool way to kind of track this stuff. Yeah, I believe it's just Break Your Stress Cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Candy, I'm going to connect with you when we're done. If you would be open to talking a little bit about how can we get this message over to the school? So I think particularly the middle schoolers and the high schoolers could really benefit from some of the messaging.
Yeah.
So, and I think another good thing just to point out, so the mental health crisis intervention team, Kale Jackson was a part of that originally. So, I mean, he's on some of these lists, but reaching out to him would be a good way to do that. and Jason King also has been a big part of this as well. So, you know, he's been, I think he invited Kale into some of that, those conversations. So I think there's a easy entry point in that, but discussions about how they can use it would be, I mean, it's one thing to give people the resources, but some people don't, again, because we're not being precious about this, some people might feel hesitant. Those would be conversations I think would be really valuable. Like, how can you send this home in flyers? Can these be report card folded into report cards when they get mailed home? Like, there's a million things you could possibly do with them.
Mhm.
Or if you work somewhere where there is still traffic coming in, posting them as flyers in the air, in the common areas, things like that. Bathroom stalls, I think Candy had suggested at one point. That's always a good one.
Any other thoughts? Mary, go ahead.
We also have, I'm Mary Messer. I'm the regional manager for the ADRC of Southwest Wisconsin. So we serve Grant, Greene, Iowa, and Lafayette counties. And we have a number of dementia caregiver support groups. So definitely gonna send information to them to hand out to the support group members. And that also takes a life of its own sometimes, and it'll start spreading out. So, and we've got a lot of virtual, like, coffee things going on, coffee hours or whatever. So they'll definitely be receiving that also.
I think it's a good point. Just to call out quickly, there's going to be some people that are going to be overwhelmed by the website, but doing like sending one flyer in an email or one flyer. So if you're finding success or you're learning lessons about, hey, I tried to do it this way and it really was, overwhelming maybe for this kind of, just constantly be looping, whether it's Bridget or myself or Hannah in, sending us an email. We're actually going to probably put a link in the website with a Google form for people that want to give us information and feedback about how to improve the campaign itself or with these ideas. Not necessarily people that are struggling with the stress cycle, but for those of us who are like, ooh, here's a question I constantly get asked, we should add this to the website. We'll use that form so that you guys can quickly communicate with us on how we can be doing these small tests of change to say, like, okay, this is what we started with, but we now know there's more data. We can do something a little bit better. All right. Any last thoughts? And then otherwise I'm going to turn it over.
Everybody.
Hey, Tammy.
Sorry. Hey, everybody. This is Tammy. I would be happy to share this with our Greene County Healthy Community Coalition. I can put it on our Facebook page. I think it would be great if we can just send it out to all the schools. And I don't know if Bridget, if that's something that you're able to do, if you have a connection that way. I don't want to be redundant though.
That would probably be a really good Guppy connection between Kathy Camo and Guppy. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what Guppy meant, so then I was all confused for a second.
Oh.
I do think to Tammy, that's a really good question to follow up on, Tammy, which is, we send, and I'll just speak for myself and apologize in advance about how many mass emails I send from that, like, mental health crisis intervention team. You guys are getting like these emails constantly, right? So I think that the way that this is going to actually build a base is going to be when it's like smaller one-off, an email between Jody and Julie that says, hey, Julie, I just got this information. I thought of your group, this group. Would you be interested in even sitting down and talking to me about it so we can discuss how we're going to use it? Or because I think the more we mass email this, the more people are going to be like, oh yeah, delete, right? Like, they're not going to think about it.
Yeah.
So, so I would just say I would be less worried about duplicating and redundant communication, especially if the communications are more authentic and really personalized. It's going to help people really pick it up and sort of try it on and think, okay, yeah, this really could benefit my group. So we've been sending a few little mass emails, but we're trying to really allow this a little bit more depth with these one-on-one smaller conversations about it.
Yeah. I think one other thing that I'm planning on doing, and I know that the focus of the audience when these items were created is definitely not kids, but I teach kids yoga and I have an internet presence. So what I'm planning on doing is taking each of those pieces and delivering them through my Facebook presence for the Little Yogis Kids Yoga page. but creating a couple of, so basically the content, the graphic will be the same, the content will be a little bit different than what I use through Upland Hills Health. So I'll kind of use some kid-friendly language about breathing and things like that, and kind of relate it back to what we talk about in those kids yoga classes too. I think we can
perfect example.
Use it in different ways.
That's great.
That's really great.
I want to figure out how to share it with our chamber members as well, at least in Darlington and beyond, of course, but start with the business.
Thank you, Judy. Sorry to interrupt you. That's just a really great angle to think about this from a less even, because they could be, a business owner could use it from a boss perspective. They could be thinking about their own health, but how are they meeting their small, employees, small business employees, or even customers who are maybe stressed about, I think about, there's just a million ways you could use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hannah, are you ready to roll with if again, she's going to demonstrate how to schedule a post. For some people, this is going to be like, I don't need this tutorial, and feel free to fall off the call if you want. But for others, we wanted to put this in there and record it so people could go back out and even use this as a tool to guide people to how to post many of these at one time rather than having to think about it every single week.
Okay, so if you manage a page, I'm pretty sure you have to be an admin on the page in order to do this. But this is our Southwest Wisconsin Behavioral Health Partnership page on Facebook. And on the side, there's a little icon for publishing tools. And now my internet is slow. Okay. Okay, here we go. So there's a lot of cool features in here. So if you haven't explored yet, that might be something that would be fun to do. So I don't currently have any scheduled posts, but if I did, I could see what the upcoming ones were there. And then there's a list of all the posts you've published, and then what Candy was talking about with the reach and engagement in terms of who's interacting with your posts. But basically, you just go to create a post and, oh, welcome to the new. Oh, this is different. Oh, great. This is.
Of course, Facebook makes an update since you've last
right.
been a day
yeah,
ago.
Since I've last been, right, exactly, yeah. So, oh, wait. Okay, switch back to the classic one. At any time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I was about to.
So put that on all of our to-do lists to go out and play around in the new tool so
Oh
we
my
know what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So once you're in here, I'm gonna just do like a example. Instead of share now, you go schedule, and then you can choose any day and any time here. So like I'll schedule one for tomorrow at 3:46. And then, yeah, so it says published, but it's going to be under my scheduled posts as for tomorrow. And that's it really. But the cool thing about this is that like I can go in today, do one for tomorrow, do one for Saturday, do one for Sunday, or whichever. And I'm sure there's data out there about what would be a good time of day to post. But I think right now, because most people are working from home, like any time of day works, because people have access to their social media all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Hannah, for doing that. I think one of the good things that we can maybe regroup on as we're constantly sort of, reviewing and seeing how this is working is we could be sharing, hey, I seem to post at 7 a.m. and it gets the most engagement. Where we could all be learning from our own analytics and then sharing that across across platforms, or where someone's sharing at 7 a.m. We don't all maybe do that. Then we spread it out a little bit. We can figure that out. But sharing these, not only the way the tools work, but then what we can learn from the tools is, I think, going to be an ongoing way to make sure that we know the impact this campaign is having. And so we can learn and just, I do think that there's a lot of good, we've done so much work on this. And if we're methodical about how we're using science and, like data to continue the work, this could be a really good test for other regions that want to do campaigns or things of this nature. So all of that data will help us. So in the last 3 minutes, I want to just thank you again for everyone that was joining us. This will be recorded, like I had mentioned in the beginning. We're recording it, and we'll be posting this out there so other people who weren't able to join us today could learn about the campaign itself and learn from the questions that we had. So are there any last minute questions or comments or concerns or anything that anyone would like to check out with, or even saying, hey, I know tomorrow I'm going to do this with that campaign?
Well, I'll just volunteer that I was thinking about printing out some of these on cardstock 5x7, 5x7 size, just because they look pretty and they have good stuff on them, and I can kind of just pass them out at work and to my family and stuff. So that's something that I was planning.
It's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I know I will be sharing weekly kind of a reminder of what our weekly message is, and kind of give probably some links, share the links directly in the email, so that for some people that want to, just make it a little easier and remind us to kind of keep us in the loop. So, and I shared to the chat a link to sign up for the summit. The summit is on February 19th. Later, we usually have it in October, and we kind of got a little confused by all of the confusing things happening in 2020. So it's a virtual summit, and the theme is going to be post-traumatic growth, or kind of growth through adversity. So
thanks, Bridget, for calling that out. I just want to say, Mary, Kate, Judy, Hannah, Bridget, many of you have all been part of either the group that did the strategic action planning to create this campaign, or you were part of the small group that helped us get this whole campaign done in 90 days, which we did, which is crazy and amazing. So I just want to thank everyone for being a part of it. And I think, just like I said before, like we don't want to be precious about how this is used. I definitely want to honor the time that went into creating this, and the creative energy and, critical thinking that we all use, because it takes time and real energy. And we luckily had some people who are really able to stick through and doing the hard work of those 90 days, so that we have now this really great resource that we can be, pushing out there as much as possible. So thank all of you for being here to help us through that. And with that,
thank you for your leadership, Julie.
You're welcome. Happy to be a part of it. All right. So that wraps it up. I'll just repeat one more time. swbhp.org is where you're going to find all the resources. And I think share things near and far, and we'll hope that we can break stress cycles all over Southwest Wisconsin. All right.
Yay.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.